everyone, welcome. I'm Makenna from NCTC's Career Services Center team, and today I'm here talking with Tre'vanh Fillmore. Trey is known for many things, but mostly for his experience as a student athlete in two
Mhm.
countries, and I'm so lucky to call him my cousin. Today we're going to be doing a little Q&A session about his experience as a student athlete, and we'll just be using some really great questions provided to us by our own NCTC student athletes. So yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and get started. And at the end, I'll provide you with Trey's contact info just in case you'd like to reach out with further questions or advice, anything like that. So yeah, thanks so much for being with us today, Trey. You've had so many awesome and unique experiences over the last like 6, 7 years. Can you start by telling us a little bit about yourself and your history as a student athlete?
I lived in Amarillo like basically all my life. So that's just a small town in the panhandle of Texas. I'm sure y'all have heard of it before. But basically I went to Paladero High School where I started playing basketball and taking it more serious my freshman year. And yeah, mostly I wasn't too big with sports whenever I was younger. So like the main focus was obviously like grades and stuff like that. And basketball was just always a privilege that came with doing that. And then over the years, I kind of took it more serious. And I actually didn't play out of high school. I went to Amarillo College and then I was just doing school there for a minute. And I felt like I was missing something in my life, and it was basketball. So I went and tried out at Wayland Baptist University. And I transferred over there, and I had 4 years of experience with basketball at that school, and I graduated from there. And then I moved up to Canada here in August of 2021 and I'm playing up here now and I'm pursuing like grad studies and stuff like that. So that's just a little bit basically what I'm highlighting.
Yeah, life moves at you fast. Like one day you're playing Kids Inc., YMCA ball in England, and then the next day you're in grad school and playing in another country. So, can you tell us what was your biggest triumph during school and sports in college?
I'd say as far as school, my biggest triumph would probably just be graduating from college. I'm not sure if I don't know if I was the first one in our family or whatever, like
Yes,
as
you
far as like
were.
our cousins. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that was big for sure, like being able to like set the standard and like now we got a bunch of cousins like graduating from college now too. So it was always like very humbling to see that like I started that and yeah, I'd say graduation was a big one for school. With basketball, I think the biggest triumph was just me actually having the opportunity to come up here and play in a different country. Because the only other person I know is my best friend Q, and that's how I got up here. Other than that, I've never really heard of anybody from home coming up to Canada and being able to play. So I'd say that. With that, I got to travel and see like a lot of different places here in North America. I've been to like 5 provinces up here. Um, and yeah, I've got to see a lot of different cultures. Like it's a completely different world up here as opposed to like the States. And then I'd say the biggest thing I took away from basketball up here is just being able to branch out and like connect with the community up here. I think I did really good at like trying to make this like a second home for me. Cause I don't know, I play like a role in the community as far as like I ref like games for younger students, and then I also help coach like little camps and then some club teams up here and there. But I'd say that's the biggest thing I took away from this was just like seeing how I could impact other people's lives up here. And yeah, I always have like little kids like following me on Instagram and stuff and asking me like for advice and all that. And they come to the games with like their family and everything. So I say that's like my biggest triumph for sure with all of this.
Yeah, that's so cool. You really do have a pretty unique story. I mean, there are people who go and do these things, but to come from a background of like immigrant family and
Hmm.
nobody, like you said, nobody else in our family doing anything like this before. Yeah, it's a lot to be proud of and a lot of really cool experiences that you've been able
Yeah.
to learn from. But so with all of that, that's all good stuff. But the stress and the struggles and the traveling and
Mm,
logistics of figuring that all out, I know has been
mm.
a lot. So what mindset did you have in times of struggle and adversity?
So I'm really big with the phrase control what you can control. I feel like every time I'm talking to other people who are going through like their own issues and problems and whatever they're stressing about, I think that's key. Cause like there's only so much that I can't control up here. I'm like, I don't know, like it's a totally different situation for me. Back home, I basically have everything I need in like the grasp of my fingers. And I feel like coming up here, it kind of taught me to like be patient and really just control what I can control around me and make sure that like I'm ready for the opportunity, when like the adversity ends or when I'm not like struggling anymore. And I think keeping in mind that like it being only temporary was big for me because I tend to dwell on like a lot of like bad situations and stuff like that. So I had to teach myself to just be patient and know that like this little rough time that I'm going through doesn't last forever. And I think a big thing with me was taking breaks. I think mental health was a big thing for me up here too. I struggled with that a lot. And I really just had basketball up here, and that made it stressful sometimes when I wasn't seeing the results I wanted to see in basketball. So I felt like taking a break and like going to figure out what I like enjoy outside of basketball and outside of the life of the athlete like helped me like appreciate just everything. But yeah, what else did I have note of? Let me see. And then yeah, that kind of went along with like knowing that there's other things that are valuable in my life. Uh, just taking pride in everything else that I represent other than just a student athlete. I think remembering that was good for me. And then obviously just having people in my corner. Uh, I'm bad with like reaching out to people, so I try my best to like kind of do better with that. And like just know that I do have people in my corner that I can lean on and go to for support and like love and stuff like that. I think that's huge also.
Absolutely. I mean, not just student athletes, but like people in general, life wraps you up. Like
Mm,
so situation after situation, obligations that you have, people you
yeah.
have to answer to, different things that you have your hands in. Sometimes it's so easy to have tunnel vision, but reaching out and finding those avenues of support and knowing your limits and controlling what you can control, I think that's wonderful advice for
Mm,
even me to hear.
yeah.
So, next question. What sacrifices, if any, did you
Mm.
make to get where you are?
Um, I think the biggest one, I kind of briefly spoke about it earlier, was just like being uncomfortable. Shoot, I've lived in Texas since I was born. So I lived there for 23 years before I even moved over here. And like I've never lived outside of Texas. So taking a jump to a different country was like a big culture shock for sure. And then like I realized like I had to kind of depend on myself. I had my best friend with me, so it made it a lot easier to come up here. But then I decided to come back this year also, so I knew like what I was going back to and like how I needed to um like enter the year on like what kind of headspace I needed to enter it. But I'd say that being uncomfortable, like I don't know, back home I have my car, I have like a job. I was working a job also. There was ways to have money. I could go back home anytime I wanted to since I only lived an hour away from school. And then I had like my family and my friends and everything. It was just comforting knowing that like I wasn't just in Texas for basketball. So that was a big sacrifice I had to make. And then also, I don't know, I was also like growing up, you know how like my mom raised me and everything. She always taught me to know that like studies came first and everything. So I don't know, a lot of people say like they had to sacrifice and like study on the weekends or spend that time like in the gym and stuff, but that kind of just always was like how I lived. So it really wasn't a sacrifice to me, but I never really like partied or did anything like that growing up. I always was like doing the right things and like contributing to my future basically. So I'd say that'd be a sacrifice too if people are into that stuff. There's nothing wrong with it, obviously, but yeah, I'd say sacrificing free time, like partying, hanging out with friends, doing all that. I think I always feel that with like some sort of way to incorporate like basketball or me studying or contributing to like the good things and my future and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything is a balance, and whatever you need to use in order to keep yourself on track, like absolutely, in order to have a well-rounded life, you need friends, you need to
Hmm.
be exercising, you need to be going to practice, you need to be
Yeah,
going to school. And inevitably, whenever you have a lot of obligations to people, sometimes some of those things are going to take more priority over the other.
yeah,
But think that whatever you need to do, calendars, to-do lists, reminders on your phone, having somebody in your corner who's keeping you accountable for those things. There's so many different ways to find a balance between all those things. And it's not easy. Absolutely not.
yeah.
But not everybody gets to be a student athlete. That's what comes with it. There's like
Hmm.
it's a blessing and it can be like a burden sometimes too, for
Yeah.
sure.
I think just shoot, practicing it, like incorporating that little bit here and there just will like increase like your tolerance for like actually like making those obligations like a part of your daily routine and stuff like that. I feel like the more you do it, the easier it is and the more you'll be able to incorporate that into like your everyday life. So
Yeah, totally. Okay, so this one is my favorite one. I'm interested to hear what you have to say. What
Mhm.
professional skills did you develop as a student athlete?
uh I'd say the biggest thing that I took away from being a student athlete was obviously like discipline and like being places on time and stuff like that. And I think it's just like sticking to your promises and obligations and stuff like that. I don't know, there's regular people, like regular students who go to school and everything, and they don't have like as much responsibility as we do as student athletes because as you said, we have a lot to juggle. And I feel like that was the biggest thing I took away from it. Like I always wondered why my previous coaches were so big on like being somewhere on time or being there early. Like if we got there on time, they always said we were late. So I think that translates to life because like when you get a job or you get a serious yeah, if you get a serious job or something, like you're not gonna be showing up late and like that's your job. Like boom, you show up late, you're not just gonna be punished as far as like you're gonna have to run suicides or you're gonna have to do push-ups or you're gonna have to do this and that. Like you're gonna get fired. So I think that was a big thing that I took away was just having the self-discipline to like balance everything and just like be able to commit to what I promised to like my team and everything like that.
Yeah.
And then can you ask the question again? I might have a little more. I forgot
Yeah,
exactly like how you worded it.
professional
Mm,
skills that you learned through your time as an athlete.
yeah, I'd say discipline. And then I don't know, I'm big with communication. I feel like this sport helped me kind of communicate and like manage and lead others. I feel like at both schools that I was at, I played the role on the team as like a leader. So I felt like that helped me like understand people and like it's easier said than done to lead a team and to manage people because everybody is so different. Like you're not gonna get a group of people that are exactly the same.
Mhm.
And I feel like me knowing like how people I say this, like knowing like triggers, knowing their values, knowing like how they think is big with like trying to connect with other people because no two people are going to think exactly the same regardless if they're like blood brothers or best friends or whatever. Like there's always going to be some differences there. So I think that taught me to like understand people and that translated to life because like shoot, like there's no job on this earth where you're just going to be doing something by yourself that doesn't involve other people. So I think that's big, just learning how other people think and all that kind of stuff.
And being willing to be coachable yourself, being able
Hmm.
to take feedback and take it in stride and let it make you a better man and a better professional and
Yeah.
not something that hinders you or having an ego too big where you can't be on a team, where you can't be the
Hmm.
little man and the leader. I feel like, playing ball is not forever. Our bodies deteriorate, things change, not everything is in our control, but that mindset of being coachable, of having sportsmanship, of having good communication, and being dedicated to the obligations you sign up for, that lasts forever. That does last forever, and that
Yeah.
bleeds into all different areas of your life. So
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Any lingering advice or comments that you would make to somebody who was in the position you were in 3, 4 years ago before we wrap up?
I think a big thing is just like me, how I view my work ethic in basketball is the same as I view it like in everything in life. So like with that being said, I feel like everything that you do should be with some type of conviction. You don't want to just lollygag your way through sports. You don't want to lollygag your way through school or your job. Like I feel like if you're in it, like you need to give your all with it because that'll maximize your potential with whatever you're deciding to do. And I think a big thing for me would be I don't know, like I talked to you briefly about my time spent in Quebec because I recently went to go play pro over there or whatever. I felt like that was a big lesson for me because I ended up having to quit, of course, but I think it was for the right reason. I learned a lot with that lesson, was just going over there. I seen that when something no longer like serves me, it's okay to let go of it and not like stress myself out too much. It helped me learn that like my purpose as a man here on this earth isn't just playing basketball. And I knew that like I was doing well over there and everything. Basketball was 100% good, all of that, but like I wasn't really fulfilled. And I feel like that had to do with like the circumstances. And I just felt like it wasn't serving me. So it helped me come back here to British Columbia and like really be grateful for everything and find myself and know that I'm more than just some student athlete. I think I could be a mentor, a good friend, a good son, whatever I put my mind to. And I'm still trying to find my purpose. And I feel like doing that kind of helped me like get back on track to find like my actual purpose. So I think
Yeah,
that was a big thing.
absolutely. Like anytime you learn a lesson, that's not a failure. Even if
Mm,
the end result is not what you set out for it to be or what you expected it to be, any situation that forces you to learn more about yourself, to learn more about the world, to learn more about your purpose is worth every second, every dollar, every drop of sweat that you put into it. Absolutely, Trey. Well, thank you so much for calling today.
I appreciate y'all for having me.
Yeah, thank you.